COLLETTE Devlin and Tom Hunt last updated 1931, September 26, 2017. Wellington City Councillors are likely to vote on Wednesday to sell and lease council land at Shelly Bay to developers Shelly Bay Limited. A check for $2,000 was all it took to remove Wellington's mayor from influencing decisions on the proposed $500 million development of Shelly Bay. More than 1,000 ratepayers made submissions on the project, and one was reduced to tears in her opposition to it, but Mayor Justin Lester has chosen to be powerless on the decision-making process. He has said he will not be voting on Shelly Bay because one of the likely developers made a donation to his mayoral campaign. Wellington Mayor Justin Lester will not vote on any Shelly Bay issues because one of the developers contributed $2,000 to his mayoral campaign. Ian Castles, director of the Wellington Company, gave $2,000 to Lester's campaign through his PL Property Management Company. Read more. Judicial review looms as Shelly Bay reaches final hurdle. Councillors caught unaware by Shelly Bay development rules. Donors gifted Nick Leggett more than $125,000 in failed Wellington mayoral bid. Minutes of a council meeting on April 26 show Lester declared a conflict of interest on the proposed long-term lease and sale of council land at Shelly Bay, having sought legal advice. Ian Castles, director of the Wellington Company, gave $2,000 to Lester's campaign, which Lester sees as giving him a conflict of interest. The advice made clear there was no pecuniary interest, nor was there any conflict arising from any pecuniary interest. There is a very low risk of a successful legal challenge to council's decision and your participation in this meeting on the basis of a non-pecuniary interest or bias, it said. While there was no legal impediment to him participating in voting, there were political and reputational considerations, and a perception of impropriety could be damaging. The $500 million proposed Shelly Bay development would include hotels, apartments, townhouses, a rest home, a ferry terminal, a marina and a cable car link to Mount Crawford. These are political assessments you are best placed to make. A political assessment could lead you towards a view to declaring a conflict out of an abundance of caution or abstaining. Because the issue was going out to public consultation, voting on the matter would not benefit Lester or Castles, the legal memo said. Lester said this week that he wanted to be above reproach. I had a strong preference for this from the outset. It was about the integrity of the process. Not voting on Shelly Bay had nothing to do with staying on side with the Wellington Company for future developments, he said. Castles donated to my campaign, but it was clear I was not his favorite. He donated $40,000 to Nick Leggett. Maybe he was just covering his bases in case I got in. I declared a conflict because of a perception of conflict. To avert the issue, I said I was not going to vote. He believed the development of Shelly Bay was not a contentious issue, which would be illustrated by a yes vote in council on Wednesday. Councillor Nicola Young, who received donations of $6,400 from Castles, has followed Lester's lead and will not be voting on Wednesday. We were told that we can vote, but I think it's a better look not to vote, she said. It is understood councillors will unanimously vote to sell and lease council land at Shelly Bay to developers, but councillors who are unsure may make amendments on affordability, transport and environment to alleviate their concerns before voting. Council documents show that, if the council voted to sell or lease its land on Wednesday, Lester along with council boss Kevin Lavery would be the delegated authorities to finalize and execute the relevant agreements around Shelly Bay. A spokesman for Lester said this was standard procedure in papers, and it would be amended to give Lester's role to his deputy mayor a position that will fall vacant after Wednesday's meeting when the current deputy, Paul Eagle, leaves to join Parliament. Castles said he viewed Lester's decision as a lost vote for his development. It was an unintended consequence of a decision to support Lester. He contributed to election campaigns because, as a Wellingtonian, he supported the contest of ideas and good councillors, he said. He had huge respect for Lester's ability and performance, and understood Lester was acting for the right reasons. You don't get told at the time that a donation will mean a lost vote. I respect the process. Stuff.